Hey, welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Dave. I don't have coffee right now, but I do have this Beyond Raw Lit. And it's mirrored, so it's backwards, but whatever. Alright, this is snow cone flavor, so let's give this a try. I just literally opened it. It's not bad. It's zero sugar, clinically dosed, 250 milligrams of caffeine, 3 grams of L-citrulline, 3.2 grams of beta-alanine, and 100 milligrams of neurofactor. I don't know what neurofactor is, but it has beta-alanine, caffeine, anhydrous, ancient peat and apple extract, fruit extract. It doesn't say, but a lot of caffeine, and it is, let's see, over here, I guess, 6/19, Thanksgiving Day. Today, we're going to talk about how to gamify our life. So, and in this, I'm not saying that life is a big game, right? Because it's obviously not. It would be worst graphics ever. Horrible frame rate. But certain parts of your life can be treated like a game. Definitely treated like a game. So everyone has their own stats that can be elevated, that can be raised. We all have a certain amount of hit points, right? And I'm comparing this more to a role-playing game than a first-person shooter, but if first-person shooters are your thing, then sure, do it up. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is talk about our stats. I'm going to go straight off of my favorite role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons, or in this case, Swords and Wizardry, which is a retro clone of the basic set back in the day, back in the 70s, early 80s, okay? So, coffee, energy drink, whatever. So I have these 3 dice right here. We're going to roll up some stats for our real life. So, and bear with me because this does have a point to it, okay? All right. Okay, so there's a bit of a shadow here, and I'm going to try not to get my finger in the lens. All right, so we have our 3 dice, right? And we're going to go old school on this. So, if only the lighting was better here. But anyway, we're going to go old school. We're just going to do 3 dice, add them up, straight down the line. Here are the stats. Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So, let's go ahead and roll for strength. Not a bad roll. Solid 10. And a 10 on this would be complete human average. So this person is going to be average strength. Let's talk about dexterity. So agility, stuff like that. 14. I think this person would make a good thief. Now for constitution, a 7. This person probably gets sick a lot. You know, one of those people that if they sleep with the fan on or accidentally leave their window open, they're going to have the flu for a week. Because that's how that works. Let's see how book smart this person is. A 7. So they're not particularly bright. Wisdom. Let's see how wise they are. Yeesh. Another 7. All right, this person needs to go on some wisdom walks. And charisma. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Almost top score on their charisma. So, 17. That's really good, actually. So, this person, whoever it is, has a strength of 10, a dexterity of 14, constitution of 7, intelligence of 7, wisdom of 7, and a charisma of 17. These are these really kind of sickly, skinny, like overly skinny, and not too bright, not too wise, but they can talk for hours and you'll hang on every word they say. But let's see what the modifiers are, because there's always going to be modifiers. In Dungeons and Dragons, for instance, if you're an elf, you get like pluses to dexterity, but minus to con. If you're a dwarf, you get plus to cons, but minus to charisma, stuff like that. So let's say both of your parents were college professors or something like that. So we're going to add 2 to the intelligence because I don't know if it's nature or nurture, but you probably have a slight advantage there, right? But they never left their, I don't know, they never left their echo chamber, right? So they never got another point of view, anything like that. So they get a +2 in intelligence, but a -2 in wisdom, which would turn that 7 into a 5. So now the guy is, or gal, is about average intelligence and high finger and not very wise at all. He is kind of dumb when it comes to street smarts, when it comes to common sense, things like that. We're not going to worry about the other things. We're not going to worry about the other stats at all. But so we have a strength of 10, dexterity of 14, constitution of 7. Intelligence is now a 9 because of parents, and again, don't know if that's nature or nurture, right? Wisdom of 5, again, nature, nurture, whatever. And a charisma of 17. Okay, so what does this guy need to work on? Or this girl? Doesn't matter. Well, he probably wants to work on his health a little bit. He probably gets sick a lot. He probably is a little weak, right? When he gets sick, he gets sick. When he gets bruised, he gets bruised. And yeah. Now, strength-wise, he's average. So he doesn't have any problem picking up 50 pounds here and there. He's not a bodybuilder. He's not a power lifter, but he's also not a complete wimp. Dexterity, he probably works with his hands a lot. Or he plays a lot of frisbee golf or, sports, something like that. Intelligence, he probably graduated high school and barely got into college. Wisdom, he gets taken advantage of a lot. And he's, poor guy, right? So, and if confronted on the street or anything like that, he doesn't know what to do. He has no street smarts. Charisma, 17, but he can talk his way out of it, so that's good. All right, so what could this guy benefit from doing? Well, to increase his constitution, now this is real life, he can start eating healthier foods, right? Meat, vegetables, fruit, stuff like that, right? For his wisdom, he can start going on wisdom walks, increasing his intelligence that way. He could take certain nootropics. He could, I don't know, take some classes, learn. Guy needs to learn. And he can use his charisma to his advantage as well. So, but let's break it down into our level, our needs, okay? What do you need to level up? What do you need to work on? Well, maybe you need to learn how to give a speech. Maybe you need to learn public speaking. Maybe you need to learn how to cook. Maybe you need to learn how to get to work on time. Maybe you need to learn how to focus, right? One of those 6 stats ties into every one of those skills, okay? Focus is mostly mental. So you need to work on one of your mental stats, either intelligence or wisdom, in order to focus, to get into that zone, to get into that flow state. And that's more wisdom than intelligence. There's a huge difference between the two. So the best way of doing that is to practice and to compare building skills to another RPG. Morrowind, if you remember that, it's part of the Elder Scrolls. It was Elder Scrolls 3, probably the best one, in my oh so humble opinion. And every time you did something, you'd raise a skill point in that. Like, not every time, but, progressively. So if you needed to jump more, you would literally just jump around all over the place, and eventually your jump score would go up. You become better at jumping. Same concept here. The more you do something, the better you're going to do it. It's the 10,000 hour rule. It's if you do something for 10,000 hours, you're going to get good at it. It's just math at that point. So if you're filling out payroll, if you're, taking a phone call, if you're doing literally anything repetitively, the same exact way each time, just improving it each time, you're going to become a master at that. And your skill score in that particular category is going to skyrocket. So 10,000 hours. Now, there is a caveat where it's 10,000 hours over a certain amount of years. And, unless you're like 80, you have time to perfect it. And the more you do it, the better you'll get. So, whatever it is that you want to get better at, keep doing it. Now, there's always that point where you want to give up because you feel that you've plateaued, that you've reached a mountain peak and you can't see yourself climbing anymore because it's getting too hard or too difficult or boring, right? That's when you make a game out of it, right? You write it down in a notebook like this and you track it. You're trying to lose weight? Track it. Track everything that goes into losing weight, right? That's calories. That's how many steps you took. That's how many weights you lifted. Everything, right? Take your weight every day, make a spreadsheet with it, turn it into a cool line graph. So in a year, if you keep up with it, you get to see that awesome progression. Even though the day-to-day is like, the overall progression is a steady decline. You just have to see it from the macro and not the micro. It's the same with skill building. It's the same with weight progression in the gym. It's the same as literally anything. Call scores, call booking rate, dispatching, literally anything. The more you do it, the better you get, as long as you're actively trying to improve. If you're just trying to stay on a certain level, let's say this old thing of, if I'm not the best and I'm not the worst, I'll just be left alone. First of all, that's no way to live life. You don't want to live life being mediocre. That's boring, and that's selling yourself short. And unless you want to do what you're doing right now forever, that's the way to do that. So keep on being mediocre, even if you have it in you to be the best. There's nothing wrong with being the best. There's everything wrong in not living up to your full potential and not giving a damn and just staying where you're at. First of all, nothing makes me more angry than seeing someone waste their potential on purpose. And that might not matter to you. Maybe you don't want the added responsibility. Maybe you don't want to be looked at. Maybe you don't like praise. Maybe you don't like progression. Maybe you're perfectly happy where you are right now. That's cool. More power to you. But here's the thing. Let's say you have an exceptionally good day out of your control, right? You just crushed whatever it is you were doing. Awesome. Well, here's the thing. Now you've screwed yourself. Mr. or Mrs. Mediocre has now proven that they can do it. And that's your new standard. You've proven yourself that you're not mediocre, that you're the best, or have the potential of being the best. And no one's going to forget that. No one. And that's not a bad thing. Unless you want to go back to flying under the radar, as it were. Which is probably the most... calming down. I'm going to take a sip of this so I can calm down more with this 250 milligrams of caffeine. Man, I am calm right now. All right, so now let's say that you're at the bottom of your team, right? In fact, let's say someone has called you behind your back or even to your face dead weight. Instead of getting all mopey and all sad and depressed and taking it personally, use that. Use it. It's easy to do because where do you have to go but up? Up. Start tracking. Start tracking everything that you're failing at, right? And then work to improve those numbers. If you're late every day, habitually late, start writing down on paper all the times that you're late and how late were you. If you're supposed to be in at 11, but you don't show up until 11:15, 11:20, 11:30, write those down, see what you can find the patterns on. Write down why you were late. If it's traffic, you know how to circumvent that. If it's because whoever you live with is holding you up in the morning, you know what the issue is. So once you get the grasp on that and you start tracking it, you can start leveling those up. Soon, you won't be 15 minutes late. You might be 15 minutes early. And work in some consequences if you don't meet up to your own standards. Also, work in some rewards if you do improve, right? So, bear with me on this one because this one's important. Every time that you meet a certain milestone, let's say you were on time for 4 weeks in a row. That's awesome. Go out, buy yourself something. You're going to have more money in your pocket if you're hourly, right? Because you have more hours on your check. And that 30 minutes late, once that's eliminated, that adds up pretty quickly over a month. Get what I mean? Use the money that you made being better to better yourself, right? And then there's this whole cool thing where you can take that money and reward yourself by investing in yourself. I mean, you should be investing 7% into your own personal development anyway. So if you make $30,000 a year, you should invest 7% of that into yourself, into either books or seminars or programs or a gym membership, anything like that. You should always invest 7% of your income back to yourself to improve yourself so that you can make more income and then That 7% grows with your income, and you can invest more into yourself. And then you're the person walking around in tier 5 armor with the cool glowing spike shoulders and cool visor and awesome flashing weapon. And I played a lot of World of Warcraft back in the day. So, but the more you track, the more you improve yourself, even if it's only 1% a day, right? The 1% difference is real. Even if you're only progressing that much, you're going to level up. And nothing feels better than leveling up your own life. It's freaking awesome. So, in closing, grab your dice right here, dice, and go ahead, roll them. A 9, whatever. Take your genetic stuff into consideration, your parents, where you were raised, who raised you, stuff like that, because that always plays into it. It's nature, nurture type of thing. And then use your strengths to your advantage and work on your weaknesses. So, and your strengths can bolster your weaknesses a lot and help to raise those skills. There's this cool thing called skill stacking that you can do. And what you learn in this venture will help you in this venture because these skills are transferable. It's really cool. So finish up your coffee or your energy drink or tea, beer, milk, whatever it is you're drinking. And get on there, get after it, and win the game. That's really all I can say to you. Okay? Practice gratitude. That'll level up your wisdom. Practice going on wisdom walks. That'll increase your wisdom more. Go lift some weights. Go run. Go jog. Go whatever. That'll increase your strength and your constitution. Eat healthy foods, right? Don't put a metric ton of sugar in your coffee. You want to raise your constitution score so you don't get sick as much. And take your vitamins. Vitamins are like health potions. They'll do you good. All right? So, until next time, finish your coffee. I'll miss you. Bye.